Hello, everyone. Thank you, as always, for starting your business week with us. It's a Monday. What an amazing time to be alive. And this is how we welcome you to Global Morning here on Global Television. I'm Uyi Agmofwegbe. I think it's good to start the show with a lady for all the reasons in the world, but more especially because, it's the Women's Week, International Women's Week. I know some persons think, well, it ended yesterday being the 8th of March, but again, these are women we're talking about. They've taken up the whole week, and they have a way of stretching it to the end of the month. So somehow, for whatever reason, it becomes Women's Month. But I'd like to say a happy Women's Week to you, Priscilla Obasi.
Thank you. Unfortunately, Mother's Day is still coming up.
Well, we are used to it. No, it's okay.
You don't have a choice. Just leave it like that.
It's good to see you, and I realized that yesterday was very special across the world. Yes, I saw women putting up events, having conversations about women-related issues. They were not complaining. I think I like that. They were looking at how far we come as women. What have we achieved so far? Where were we before now? Where are we today? Where should we be heading, given the much that we have accomplished now, right? And when you look at that, you see that women, more than ever before, are becoming more intentional. Whether they are the ones in business, the corporate world, they are the ones in politics, the ones in different sectors. I mean, professionals in education, in health, services, and what have you. Women have, more than ever before, now learned to push the frontiers. I saw something like a canvas of pictures of women who are leading universities. I mean, for the first time, we have this number of female vice chancellors. You go to the finance sector, you see women leading banks, some of the most prosperous banks, some of the biggest banks by capitalization and all of that. I mean, never in the history of this country or even this continent have we seen that happen before. I think women should give themselves a pat on the back.
Exactly. We deserve all the round of applause at this moment. I'm really excited because more than ever before, we've seen women, want to push. We've seen women not wanting to settle for less.
Right.
We've seen women not wanting to restrict themselves to just the kitchen. Women wanting to become more entrepreneurial. Women wanting to and the beautiful part of it is that in all of this, you still see women carrying family along. Right. That's the power of a woman, right? And we cannot take it away from them.
Right.
Yeah, but one thing that is still, I would say, I'm grateful. I started by saying I'm grateful. We are grateful. But we still want to see that reflect in the political space. We want to see women more involved in politics. We want to see women take on, political roles, come out and contest. We want to see it becoming a norm in Nigeria that a woman comes out and says they want to be president without people laughing at her, without people making a caricature of the situation. We want to see women come out and say, I want to become, the governor of my state, and no one turns back and feels like you're taking on an impossible task. We want it to be normalized. We don't want these things to be as if it's just some women having the courage, to do these things. No, it should be a normal thing across all sectors, across all spaces in Nigeria. But so far, I would really say that we have recorded lots and lots of progress. Women are in tech now. Women are doing fantastic. It is more prominent in the private sector, right? It is more prominent there. But I know it's going to get better. We all know it's going to get better.
Incidentally, we'll be joined by a woman today who has seen, as I say, both sides of the coin. She's been in the public space. She has also been in the private sector. That's going to be our guest today, more like a resource person, to add to what Priscilla has said the last 3 minutes. But more importantly, what we're also seeing now is that women are beginning to realize that these are no times to fight with men as we used to have. They call it the gender war. That war is senseless, really, because whether you like it or not, you are going to need collaboration, or as I say in politics, you are going to need handshake. And that also means we can't run away from the fact that these women who have become successful over time, who have climbed whatever ladder in society to make impacts, get their voice heard, have been supported by men. Whether they are fathers, they are brothers, they are, husbands, all right? So even male colleagues, for example. I know of ladies who credit, for the most part, their male MDs, they are male supervisors, some of them even they are male lecturers in school for how far they've come in their journeys. So which means that there must be that collaboration. But again, when I see women being invested in things around capacity building, skills, competencies, understanding that you can't just be making noise on social media. You've got to have what it takes. You've got to bring something to the table. You've got to be the person who has track record. You don't have to. You don't need to have changed the world, but we must have that evidence that you left a mark somewhere. Even if it was just a project you did in a rural area. But let's see what you've done. That will become more like the basis for you to shoot further. You create that impetus you need for you to, if like, move on up, as I say, in your sphere of influence. All right. And also, I'm impressed, like most men are, with the collaboration we're seeing amongst women. So that infighting is beginning to be de-emphasized. Women are now understanding that no matter how wealthy you are in any kind of resource, you've got to collaborate with other women because they say each one teach one, and there's that need to form a chain because they say a chain is as strong as its weakest link and stuff like that. So women are now understanding that. So, I mean, beyond religion, beyond ethnicity, beyond tribe and language and stuff like that, women are now understanding that, look, we must reach out across, I mean, we can't burn bridges, of course. We must reach beyond boundaries, you know, to support ourselves to move on. And then lastly, women are also now realizing that this is not just a matter of annual ritual. Let's come together. It's another 365 days. Let's have International Women's Day. Women are now realizing that we must challenge the status quo, not by fighting, not by violence, but by learning what has changed about how the world works now. I mean, we live in times that people consider as uncertain. How do women fit into that frame? What can they do differently now, given that the reality is not the same as what they had a few years ago? So they are realizing all of that. And in the case of Nigeria, they are asking themselves, 2027 is in front of us. What can women do differently this time compared to what we are seeing in 2023, especially with the Binani case, for example, I mean, 2019 as well, and things like that. So women are bracing up, and that's a sign that there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Of course, indeed. There is light. I like the theme for this year's International Women's Day. It says give to gain, and it's that call for mentorship. There has been a lacking, or do I say, we've not seen so much collaboration in time past. You know, the whole women supporting women, sometimes when you hear it, it looks as if it's a joke. But I see that there's more intentionality right now to mentor younger ladies. There are a lot of ladies that are open to anything they hear on the internet space, and we need more intentional women to come out and say, no, this is not the way. Because if you don't have a principle, if you don't have, you know, whatever it is that is guiding you, anything just makes sense to you. You can just walk and run with anything you hear. So women are coming out now to say, okay, we need intentional mentorship. We need people that will set the standard. We don't want our ladies or our girls to go out there and listen to bitter women, because as we cannot take out the fact that, or we cannot take away the fact that there are people that have been hurt. They are running with that narrative. They're running with that hurt. They're using their hurt to pass messages. No one is denying the fact that they are hurt. But sometimes you have to heal before you speak. If you don't heal, you might just end up, you know, speaking from a place of pain. From pain, and then sending a wrong message out there to the world. So it's a call to women out there. Whatever it is you have gone through, everybody has gone. Life has a way of dealing with everyone, whether it's a male, whether it's a female. Life just has, even children. Life deals with them. So you're not the only one, right? So the way to make the best of whatever it is that you're putting out there, whatever, you know, message or word you have to the world, is to first heal. When you heal, you'll be able to see clearly. So we need more healed women to be in that space of mentorship. We need women that are intentional about, you know, guiding young girls.
Not social media feminists.
Not social media feminists. No, not social media feminists. The word feminism has been bastardized. Has been
you agree?
Yes, it has. It has been abused on all fronts. People are speaking from pain. We have misandrists coming out to say, oh, I am a feminist. People are intentional about, you know, trying to bring down men, but that's not what the movement is about. No, it's about saying, I have capacity. I have abilities. I want to utilize my abilities. Do not limit me because of my gender. Can you first of all weigh me? Can you first of all look at me? Can you first of all examine me to know what I can actually do before you, judge? Basically because of gender. That is what feminism is about. It's not about saying, okay, I can do what a man can do. You can never do what a man can do. Everybody has their place, right? Everybody has their space. But feminism is not competing. It's more of collaboration. Yeah. It's more of let me bring all that I have so that I can add to all that you have. Not I can take your space or I can take your place. So it has been bastardized, it has been abused, but more than ever before, we need healed women. I keep saying that. We need healed women to come out there and put same messages out there, worthy messages out there, so that the world indeed will be a better place.
Sure. That's the goal, ultimately, to make the world a better place. And women, I will assure you, have a very pivotal role to play in that process. And the good news is they started playing that role a long time ago. We're only now taking measurement, doing some evaluation and realizing that there's more work to do to build on what we've achieved so far. Again, happy International Women's Week to all the women across the world who are making a difference in their different spheres of influence. We also will talk about Iran for more than a minute today in the course of the program. So much has changed the last few days, especially over the weekend on that front. Somehow the US and the UK are now having their own rifts, again regarding these tension in the Gulf as we know it. So we're taking a break. When we return, we'll talk about all of these developments regarding Iran for a second. All right, first off, we're hearing that the son of late Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has now taken charge. He's now stepped into leadership of Iran, of course, for obvious reasons. Before now, it was as if following the death of his father, leadership had been decimated, and of course, the structure had been depleted. But as it stands right now, there appears to be a bit of coordination, even in the face of all of these catastrophe. But then we've seen so much of missiles being shot by Iran this weekend. Of course, the US and ally Israel have not also relented. So that, again, in all, is a pointer to the fact that there's no, as it were, relenting on the part of these as it were, rivals at this point in time, regardless of all of the cause for the escalation. We understand oil is now selling for more than $100 per barrel, and there's the some sort of postulation by experts in the industry that if these hostilities continue for the next few days, especially if it runs for another 1 to 2 weeks, there's a good chance that oil could sell for as much as $200 per barrel. We have countries now, especially in the Middle East, now shutting down their refineries, their depots. In fact, they've terminated production because it is one thing to produce. It's another thing for you to supply. So you don't have the capacity to store because you can't move what you have produced already. The reason you can't move what you have produced is on account of the fact that the Strait of Hormuz, which basically is the channel through which these resources move to Europe and all across the world, has now been blocked. The question is who has blocked it? It's Iran, because it is within the jurisdiction of Iran. And Iran has also threatened that, look, if the US does not step back and cease fire, as it were, it will block the Strait of Hormuz, which it has already done right now, even though the US...
Is it a recent development?
Yes, it is a very... Right.
Oh.
Yes, over this weekend. And the US is saying that, well, that would be an issue because our Navy would help to, as it were, secure that corridor and ensure that Iran does not pose any threat to vessels passing through it. But we don't see that really happening, at least not as of yet, all right? But add to that the fact that while Israel and the US are fighting what, global affairs analysts now call a military war, Iran realizes, quite frankly, that it doesn't have the capability to retaliate from a place of strength. It decides to now fight an economic war by saying, look, first of all, if you allow the US to use your base, use your territory, use your resources, or whatever it is, if you give the US and Israel any kind of support, we will come for you. So you are not our enemy until you do any of this, all right? And that's number one. Number two is to say that, look, we are going to see how much we can put pressure somehow strategically on other countries in such a way that they can also pressure the U.S. and Israel so they can at least cease fire for a second so we can breathe and then so we don't get wiped out, really. So what Iran is doing essentially is to say that, look, since China is the biggest buyer of our oil or oil from across this Middle East, we'll block the Strait of Hormuz. If we do that, China will be affected. Other countries, yes, India will be affected. If they are affected, they will turn the heat on the US. If the heat is turned on US, there's the possibility, very high possibility, that they will cease fire for once. If they do that, then we can now start talking. Because we heard just before the weekend that Iran had reached out to say, can we have some discussion? Can we talk? But the US says the time for talk has passed. We can't talk. But we hope the world or the leaders of the world can intervene early enough. Because if that doesn't happen, this is one kind of war that may not necessarily need to third world war, as people say, but will have its own impact on varying degrees on countries across the world, one way or another. So it's not a question of, I'm not in the Middle East, I'm far from Europe, I'm not in the US. It's now an issue of what we call globalization. Now, incidentally, globalization has its blessings and has its curse.
Yeah, we already see that happening in Nigeria. I don't know for what reason fuel is already going on the high side.
Even Dangote has shot up its own price.
Shot up its own price because it's part of the reasons why we didn't want the monopoly of the refineries, right? But we see it happening now. I was going to come to work today, and every drop I took had, every driver had increased their fare. And I'm wondering, you guys were here when they reduced this fuel price. None of you reduced your fuel price. But right now you're just hearing of the same price that used to sell before it came down.
Right.
And then you're already increasing your prices. Right. What does this say about Nigeria? So if this thing eventually happens, whatever it is like speculating, we know that we know that we don't mercy for ourselves.
Right,
we're not humane in this part of the world. I'm sorry to say that, but that's what it is. We look for every opportunity to reap
to rob ourselves.
Exactly.
Right.
Because tomorrow this price can come down for all I care, and nobody goes back to whatever it is they have been saying. Even if they say this is the reason why we're hiking the price of fuel. We don't want all of this because we are going to be at the receiving end. Even if we're not part of the war, we would be at the receiving end. Now, US are clearly saying they don't want negotiations, right? They just want the Iranians to apologize. I think that's what Trump is saying. I don't want to have a conversation with you.
Right.
Apologize.
Tender apologies.
Let it be that, all power has been given to us because, it's power tussle, obviously.
Right.
And as much as Iran is trying to, retaliate economically, that is the power they have, right? They have their own strength. But they should not forget that these other countries have some ties too with the US. And if the US tries to also retaliate, it still brings an unending cycle to the crisis, to the war, to the everything. So we don't need everybody. They say all is fair in war.
Right. Whatever you have.
Whatever you have, you bring it. Everybody decides to play that game. Nobody wins at the end of the day. It becomes an unending cycle of battles and all the fights and everything. So there needs to be an end to this. There needs to be an end to this. There's nothing like peace, right? There needs to be an end to this. And one of the reasons why the US initially says, okay, we want to do this, is basically because they feel these people in this part of the world have their rights trampled up. And I want to really feel like they came from that sense too. And then we are trying to protect the world from, those that are funding, in their words, they feel like they are funding global terrorism. Right. So we want to protect the world from this, because if we allow these people, even if it's based on speculation, whatever it is that is based on, they have drawn their facts from whatever experiences or whatever they got it from. So they are saying, okay, we don't want global terrorism. We don't want, and if we give these people the right to continue to produce nuclear weapons, it increases the chances, increases the numbers, increases, everything about global terrorism. There's also the speculation that, okay, maybe this thing could be a thing about those that are in that space of producing armed weapons. It could be a market for them, right? Because why do we always have to use guns to kill? Are there not other measures or other methods? If you want to say you want to eliminate some particular people, why does it have to be guns?
Right.
Can't you just go there and do some kind of poisoning? Like, it's easy. You don't need some kind of, especially in some terrains, there are some environments that are not so secured. Right. So you don't have to carry guns because they are not secured. So why does it have to be guns that blazing and all of that? So there's also the speculation that, okay, this thing is coming from those that are, at the forefront of marketing war weapons. And sometimes before, in order for them to sell, they have to introduce some kind of, rivalry, so that the government of that particular environment will patronize them, and then you have people patronizing, those people. So there are all speculations, every manner of speculations out there. But at the end of the day, whatever it is, if this thing keeps lingering, it affects every citizen. They might not be dead, but even whilst they're alive, they get the ripple effect of the whole situation. So basically, I'm saying, let there be an end. I don't know who brings an end to
quite interesting. But I'm proud to introduce to you the latest conspiracy theorist in the world, Priscilla.
I don't know if you've not seen it, but that is basically what we're seeing on social media, right? Everybody's coming out with their own
angles
and angles to the whole situation. So we don't know what to believe at this point anymore, but the fact is that there is war.
You made a point that we can't escape from. I mean, we can't pretend not to have noticed when you talk about there's no price too high to pay for peace. I think that should be the watchword for these warring parties right now. We hope the UN and other very influential global entities would jump in early enough and do what is crucial at this point in time, all right? There's so much to talk about on this front in the course of the program this morning, but we're taking a break now so we can join Ramsey Enoch Agbo to bring you heart-to-heart inspirational.
This is Heart to Heart Inspirational, and of course we need to let ourselves know that, all right, if life were easy, strength would be unnecessary. Do you get that? If life was an easy thing, we don't need strength now. We don't even need mental calculation. We don't even need to do anything because life is easy. Everything is just going smooth. You just sit down, relax, whatever you want to do, you do. My mother would say, if money were leaves on the tree that you can plug anytime. But it's not like that. Life is not easy, and that is why strength is required. Anyone that tells you life is easy, then that person is not doing you well. No matter how rich your parents are, ask them, is life easy? They will let you know the truth. And the earlier you realize this, the better, so that you don't lag behind, so that you don't just live a careless life, so that you don't live your life like there is no tomorrow, so that tomorrow don't take you unaware, like some civil servants who will never think about retirement until retirement meets them face to face. This is something of 35 years. What preparation have you done? Depending on pension, waiting for pension? All right. Well, with what's happening right now in our own country, I think a lot of people are becoming wiser because pension itself, well, I don't know who is doing who strong thing, but then I just want us to know that life is not as easy as we think. Whoever that is putting it forward to you that life is easy, I don't think that person is doing you any good. Life is easy. With faith, life is easy. I'm not displacing the place of ease. Life is easy if you know what to do. Yeah, life is easy if you know what to do. Then strength is also required. But if pressure didn't exist, a power wouldn't develop. Because what you're facing right now is not evidence of weakness. It's not because you're weak. Yes, it's not because you're weak. Sometimes these things happen. It's happening to other people, just that they are not voicing out the way you are voicing it out. They are not complaining the way you are complaining. Sometimes complaint don't even solve the problem. Because what you're facing right now is not an evidence of weakness. It is a proof of capacity. Your ability to subdue whatever the situation is what matters. All right? Some people, I don't want to say, but then I know of business owners, especially people who take risk in business. Sometimes if you know the kind of money they lose, you will be shocked. Sometimes you even insult them. But the day they hit it with that risk, oh my God, they can make double of what they've lost. All right? So it takes a man with a large heart, a heart of capacity, someone who has capacity, all right, to make such moves. So sometimes what's happening to you and what you're doing is not a sign of weakness, it's not a sign of foolishness, but it's a proof that you have capacity, and it's a proof that you are growing, and it's a proof that you're ready to change level, and it's a proof that you are tired of the status quo. You want a change of level. You want it to be better than what it is right now. Life, as a matter of fact, attests us not to break us, but to reveal us. Pressure exposes the strength you didn't know you have. I tell you the truth, pressure exposes the strength you never knew existed on your inside. So sometimes your ability to overcome pressure sometimes matters. And that's why when you're going to look for a job in some other places, you hear, all right, do you work under pressure? Sometimes it happens. You don't beg for it to happen sometimes, but it happens. Even at home, in your family, it happens. Between you and your siblings, sometimes you see some things, some kind of pressure comes. All right? Those pressures exposes your strength. Your ability to handle those pressure, those times is what matters. It makes you. The weight you are carrying build your muscle in your character. That is true. What am I saying? I'm trying to let you know that the weight you are carrying sometimes is building your muscle in your character. Storms don't last forever. That reminds me of one of Kirk Franklin's songs that we used to sing those days. Storms don't last always. All right? Storms will come, whether you like it or not. In as much as life is there, storms must come, but it doesn't last and it doesn't exist all the time. But resilient people do exist, irrespective of the kind of storm they have been faced with. You've survived things that once made you cry. Am I telling your mind? Am I saying the truth? Am I saying your mind? Yes. Those things that made you cry sometimes back, you survived it. By the time those things are happening again, you already have the muscle to withstand it. You've overcome moments you thought would end your life. Some things happen and you say, whoa, some people think they are finished. Maybe a grace available for this moment. That same strength is still inside of you. There are strengths on your inside that have not even manifested. All right. So when pressure comes in your business, in your family, in what you do, in your pursuit for success, don't allow yourself to be weighed down. Let me take gold, for instance. It's been refined by fire, not destroyed by fire. Any gold you see shining today, it went through a refining moment. What refines gold is fire. Fire. They put gold inside fire, heat it. It will be burning it. It's only God that knows what that gold will be saying. But after that moment, it comes out shining. And people will want to pay millions, billions to buy it. All right? That heat doesn't remove the gold. It removes the impurity, the dirt, the unpreparedness, the unreadiness. All right? The procrastinations. All right, the indiscipline, the misbehavior, the unreadiness is being removed by that fire, and you come out pure, you come out refined. Stop asking, why me? Sometimes, a lot of people like asking that question. Oh God, why me? Allah, why me? Oh, why me? Stop asking that question. Start asking, what is this building in me? What is this situation trying to bring out in me? Why did this thing happen to me? God, what are you saying? What is it for? What is it for? Sit down and think. Some people don't even have thinking moments. There are times that you need to shut the door. You need to off your phone. Sit down and think. strategize. Distraction, Kai, I don't know, but a lot of distraction in this our generation, a lot of distraction in this our days, especially this age of internet. Yeah, a lot of people are doing well with the internet, but then there are times that you need to sit down and just you and you alone, you and your heart, and what you have conceived in your heart, that is in your head, boiling, how it's going to get into your hand. Sometimes you sing and ponder over it. All right? Trust your resilience. You have survived 100% of your worst days in the past. So what is left? These are the things you should be asking yourself. All right? So I want us to know that this moment will not defeat you. It will develop you. And it's all a matter of choice. You need to decide it. You need to want it. You need to live it. You need to behave it. It needs to be in your head after conceiving it in your heart so that it can enter your hands. Thank you very much. You are a success going somewhere to happen. Recondition your heart and your thinking cap should be on all the time. I'm Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye for now.
I believe that's the best way for you to start your day, the best inspiration, right? Right now, we'll dive straight to the newspaper review segment, and we're starting with the Punch newspaper. Okay, so first story above the nameplates: debt servicing suppresses capital spending by 3.9 trillion naira in 2 years. Details on page 33. Pope warns of regional spillover from Israel-Iran war. Of course, we already see that happening, and that detail is on page 31. FARC subcommittees get 11.5 billion naira for 2026 budget planning. Details on page 34. Battle for PDP. Makinde Wike camp brace for appeal court verdict today. Okay, details on page 31. May the best man win, as they say. Rising fuel prices. NNPC may supply foreign crude to Dangote refinery. Some riders to that. Third fuel price hike looms. Motorists groan as petrol nears 1,200 per litre. Dangote suspends fuel sale briefly amidst rising prices, marketers say. Nigeria triples crude imports from US in 1 year amidst rising local shortage. I mean, this is really sad. I said it when this whole thing started. I said it's an opportunity for Nigerians to position themselves.
Right.
I mean, this is serious opportunities. If we had our refineries working, if we, as one of the oil-producing countries in Africa, had positioned ourselves well for this war. War is an opportunity to also, the people that make lots of gains.
Right, right.
So, I mean, that is part of the economics we should have been doing. I'm not saying we want war, no, but some things are, inevitable.
Right.
Some things have happened or something.
Especially when it's beyond your control.
Exactly, especially when it's beyond your control.
How do you position yourself strategically?
Strategically. Do all of that. We just want to be sentimental. We just want to flow with whatever it is that's happening.
Right.
We are not at any advantage. We're not trying to see how we can, even help. You understand? At least if we are able to, if we have been able to position ourselves in the oil, with oil of sales and marketing
Right.
like that. At least we would come to rescue countries at this point that are lacking. But I mean, it's better that Nigerians will be the first to be affected in any of these things happening. So it's really sad, and we need to do better. We really need to do better.
We should.
Next story: rising opposition attack spark concerns ahead of 2027 elections. 2027, Lagos APC vows to reverse 2023 presidential loss. Okay. International Women's Day. Tinubu governors seek stronger policies for women empowerment. Thank you very much, sir. Let's go to the next paper, which is Nigerian Tribune.
All right. Well, above the nameplate, top right, Nigerian Tribune, it says Iran war. Federal government activates diplomatic channels, consular alerts to protect citizens. ADC flays Akpabio for dismissing opposition's objections to Electoral Act 2026. Resolution of OPL 245 dispute turning point for oil and gas sector. That is credited to Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi. The big one with a kicker, Electoral Act. Political parties differ over IPAC's threats to boycott 2027 elections. Then four riders with it. It is desirable NNPP is too early but not foreclosed ADC. Our focus is how to put our house in order, Labour Party. Of course, that's the first point of necessity. We are against undemocratic schemes of APC-controlled National Assembly. The SDP they're speaking. We will encourage them to boycott APC. Lawyers, CSOs weigh in. And then the right-hand corner of the paper, editors inaugurate Committee on Research, Training, Publications, say committee to bridge gap between academic training, professional practice on page 3. That's a step in the right direction, no doubt. Benin City wins $1 million Global Innovation Prize in Bloomberg Mayor's Challenge, page 3. That's quite inspiring and impressive altogether.
Congratulations to
Benin City, right?
You.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I'm proud of my city. All right, more headlines for you from the front page of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Hope rises for PDP as Olawekbo's shuttle diplomacy yields breakthrough. Will he be able to reconcile the likes of Atiku Abubakar and all of those who have left the party, including Nyesom Wike, who hasn't left but is not present either? A bit of health for you. Daily soft drink, regardless of sugar content, may harm body immunity, guts health. That's according to researchers. You should have called my name, but I'm glad you didn't. Page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune is where you find it. It's about health, and it's quite crucial. We'll read it up, all right? Shockwaves across construction sector as cement sells between 11,500 and 15,000 per bag. Developers call for stakeholders' engagement. Well, it's interesting how that we are beginning to realize the reason rent, especially in cities like Abuja, keeps skyrocketing. This is even worse for those who built their houses decades ago, but continue to raise rents. And you're wondering what the basis is. Some of them say, well, you know, I maintain my house, I maintain my property, and when I do that...
any of that maintenance, as a matter of fact.
Well, maybe they are the only ones who see the maintenance.
I'm still maintaining the houses, and then you're saying I'm maintaining my house.
Right.
My house. Well, it's sad, but it's Nigeria.
Again, regulatory failure of some kind, right?
But
we hope we tighten the noose around these loose ends soon enough. All right, let's look at the last headline from the Nigerian Tribune for you this morning. NLC raises alarm over alleged 20 billion naira heist in TCN. Says its looting plan disguised as emergency refurbishment seeks Power Ministry's intervention, wants the FCC, ICPC to investigate. Please be sure to read up details on the Nigerian Tribune today. Next port of call is the Guardian newspaper.
Okay, the Guardian newspaper, first story, top left corner. Walk the talk on security emergency. Ndume tells Tinubu. Okay, details on page 3. PDP governors preach peace ahead of appeal court verdict on party leadership. Okay, let's see. Looks like there's about to be, or it's about to go down, as they say. Details on page 3. Women stakeholders harp on empowerment inclusion on International Day. Details on page 3. And I'm also lending my voice to that. Shareholders may forfeit dividends as CBN penalizes insiders abuse. Details on page 6. Custom blames banks, others for failed 24 hours port operations. Details on page 4. Nido Flay arrests of 42 Nigerians in Mozambique, demands release. Details on page 4. 2027 polls will be Nigerians against bad leadership. Okay, we heard that in 2023 too. We hope this is indeed the time. Details on page 7. International Women's Day, NHRC raises alarm over early marriages. Okay, details on page 30. I think we have, a decline to that, if you ask me.
Right.
Yeah. I think I've not done my empirical. I don't have the empirical
evidence.
But we're now seeing, from my environment, we're seeing women say, okay, I want to achieve this before I get married. I want to achieve, maybe in the urban centers. I don't know about rural communities, but in the urban centers, I don't think women are I know women who like marriages, right? But that desperation, maybe desperation comes as they advance in age, but not
when you're still young in your prime.
I don't see that really from my environment.
Right.
But then, child marriage is not good.
It is something that we should speak up against.
Yeah. Serap sues federal government over alleged mass phone tapping regulations. I don't know how we are tapping phones or we are not tapping the terrorist phones.
It's laughable. It is laughable.
We have people using phones to collect ransom.
Right.
People losing their lives. I heard recently a Nigerian corps member that lost his life, a graduate that lost his life basically because, I don't know what part of somewhere in the north, right? I saw that interview yesterday with his family members and how they had asked for 10 million naira ransom, which they raised. Eventually, they said it was too small. They should add 5 million naira before they could get it. They killed the corps member. And it's sad. So sad. So I'm wondering, how are we not using this, our intellectual capabilities of tapping phones to tap into these people's phones? Because whether we like it or not, people are dying.
Right.
People are losing their lives. Petrol price may hit 1,400 liters as Dangote refinery loading stalls. Again, this is one of the effects of, monopolizing the system. Bandits attack Sokoto community as Zamfara holds emergency security meeting. Details on page 30. And those are your headlines for the Guardian newspaper. Next point of call is the Daily Trust.
Oh, thank you, Priscilla. Top left is what we have. First headline says, many feared dead in Adamawa communal clash. Quite sad. When I hear many feared dead, I just tell myself, is it not just so much that we can't even put a finger on the number yet? All right. Hopefully we'll have those figures in the course of today. But you can read all those details on page 7. Iran names Khamenei's son, Mojtaba, new supreme leader. Is on page 41. We hope things return to normal or begin to return to normal real quick. Beyond just having a new leader in place, we need peace in the Middle East and indeed across the world, right? The big one, Middle East war pushes up petrol, food prices. We saw that coming on pages 3 and 4. You start that story on the front page. It continues on pages 3 and 4. Right. Lawyers ADC to ICPC, charge or release El-Rufai on page 6. Bottom right, Taraba residents decry high rents. 7 die, 18 injured in Benue Lagos auto crashes. Borno, Boko Haram in control of Ngoshe. That's according to locals. That shouldn't really come as a surprise. The governor has once at least said there was a local government under the control of terrorists in his states, and he therefore asked for the military presence in that area in particular to be ramped up. But we hope things begin to get normal as we come to this fight, because that's what it is now, with sincerity of purpose. All right? Well, those are your headlines from the Daily Trust this morning. Time to move up to the Daily Sun. Okay.
On the Daily Sun, we have the first story besides the nameplate, and it says, fear grips PDP members as leadership as appeal court rules today. Chieftains speak on possibility of party not fielding candidates in 2027 polls. Of course, saw that coming. It's not certain at this point, but I mean, there have been speculations. And honestly, I don't like it when I hear rivalry, war, fights. It doesn't really. I know it's necessary sometimes, because sometimes at the end of all of this misunderstandings,
right,
the purpose is clearer, right? Everybody's realigned to a greater cause, or towards another direction. It leads to a greater cause. But when we keep hearing of repeated crisis over and over again, then something is wrong.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, we hope an end comes to this. Port theft resurges as wharf rats loot imported vehicles. Importers count losses as NPA says terminal operators responsible for cargo security. And the big story is the convention, APC governors at war over NWC position. Another war. Okay. Ex-Lagos local government chief arrested as NDLEA recovers illicit drug in baby diapers. Okay, page 4 is where you find that.
That here you say, wonders shall never end.
Wonders indeed never ends. You find a detail on page 4. NLC alleges 20 billion naira looting plot in TCN. Details on page 25. Editors inaugurate committee on research training publications. Details on page 27. Recapitalization race triggers mergers talk amongst top banks. The writer to that says Unity Providus merger awaits court approval. Details on page 2. And those are your headlines for the daily. So now we go to the Vanguard newspaper.
Iran names Mojtaba Khamenei's son, new supreme leader, on page 41 as the first headline, top far above the nameplate. And then top right, State of the Nation, how the North has become Nigeria's problem. Saro, ex-Senate's minority leader, on page 14 is where you read up those details. Amid terror surge in Kiama, how illegal mining business thrives in Kwara community. Then we have one here, top left, that has a picture of Ola Wekbo Kashim. It says, hope rises for PDP as Benga Hashim's shuttle diplomacy yields breakthrough, on page 8. Big one, how federal government's 2.3 billion euro electricity project failed. About 7 riders with that headline. Federal government begins new phase after failure of 5-year 25,000 megawatt plan. Experts list implications, transmission, distribution challenges persist, as according to Professor OK. Missed targets impose cost on homes, businesses, economy, LCCI. Economic growth, job creation will remain subdued, CPPE. Tinubu's GAMCO raises concerns. Areas of conflict must be resolved. Power of Nigeria. Editors inaugurate committee on research, training, publications. That's on page 10. Peter Side condemns El Rufai's continued detention. What's the writer? Says Serap sues federal government over phone tapping rules. 2027 polls, parties scramble to meet Electoral Act deadline. Well, Those are your headlines from the Vanguard newspaper today. Let's go take a look at the very last one, and that will be the Nigerian News Direct.
Okay, so on the Nigerian News Direct, first story, which is the big story, Middle East tensions drive petrol prices above 1,000 naira per litre nationwide. Hits 1,120 in Lagos, Kaduna, Kano, Ibadan. Drivers, businesses brace for higher transport and food costs as commuters groan. Well, we saw this coming. Next story, on page 21. 2027, opposition should withdraw from polls if they are not ready. That's coming from Basiru. Page 23 has IGP Disu create new media unit, appoint new force spokesperson. Okay, that seems like we are expecting a breakthrough.
Of course.
The policing
system in the country, right?
In the country.
While we also await the state police.
The state police, exactly. I feel like this should be one of the things that should be fronted at this moment, because we need state police more than ever. African Week, Sanwo-Olu redefines Lagos as a platform for African possibility. Details on page 13. Under President Tinubu, Nigeria is positioned to be Africa's renewable energy hub. Abba Aliyu REA MD. Details on page 24. And finally, we have GAMCO. Stakeholders demand transmission privatization to end grid wars. Details on page 15. And those are your headlines for the Nigerian News Direct.
All right. Well, that turns out to be how we end it here on the newspaper review on the program this morning. Just to remind you that you have a responsibility to read off details for yourself across all the papers we've presented to you, and then of course remind you that Global Television, as a broadcast media entity or the team here on Global Morning, does not in any way contribute to these headlines or their details. All we do is just to bring you the headlines exactly as published by their respective publishers. Coming up shortly is Social Bars with Ogochukwu Mobuno.
At Witchtech Cables, we don't just make cables, we deliver excellence. Our products are built with advanced technology, trusted for their unmatched quality and durability. With a wide range of cables, swift delivery, and continuous innovation, we stay ahead of the market demand. We are proudly Nigerian, fully indigenous, yet world-class. Backed by a professional team, strong technical support, and a deep commitment to customer satisfaction. Witchtech Cables is more than a brand, it's a promise. Witchtech Cables, quality cables better than the best.
In an age of breaking news, you need a trusted source that prioritizes accurate, factual, and unbiased reporting. This is AM News, and I am Ubom Usoro.
On Global Television, our news is rooted in verified and authoritative storytelling that keeps you educated, informed, and enlightened on all the issues that matter to you. I am Sadia Yakubu. This is Midday News.
You can trust a multi-platform news broadcast, real-time and fast-check stories for all the big local and foreign headlines round the clock. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. This is News Express.
Our array of anchors delivers the news to our teeming viewers, breaking it down with context and perspective. This is News Cycle on Global Television. I am Anieti Patrick.
And the flagship news is your hub for the day's most engaging stories. This is News Prime, and I am Jumai Manson.
Did you miss any of our news rounds? No worries. Catch up at 10 p.m. and midnight, 7 days of the week. I am Mukhtar Kasim.
Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. We're active across all social media platforms at Global TV NG.
Global TV News, accurate and unbiased. I'm Uyi Agmofwebe. Our language, our vibrant culture and colorful tradition, our industrious and hospitable people. This is Nigeria, a nation that prides itself in abundant human and natural resources. From east to west, north to south, we sparkle, we shine, we have a common bond. Fellow Nigerians, let's do away with ethnic, religious and regional sentiments that divide us as a people. God has blessed us and empowered us to find strength in diversity. Let's make our faith and way of worship our source of unity as we build our nation that stays united. Nigeria, together today, together always. This is a public announcement brought to you by Global Television. Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debates, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning.
When social media speaks, we'll listen and we'll bring you the extra. It's your one-stop show for trends, and the tea everyone sips. Join the conversation, share your thoughts, and get the extra dose of what's shaking the internet.
And the issues making wave on social media to your doorstep.
Social Buzz Extra, where the trend meets the talk. Only on Global Television.
Good morning, Nigerians and viewers around the world. It's time to look at buzzing issues making rounds on social media, and I'm telling you that the weekend was filled with a lot of trending issues. Then we're going to take one for the sake of our time, and of course, for the show. And what we're taking today is the Al Jazeera reporter Mehdi Hassan has released video evidence of Daniel Bwala saying word for word everything he denied on his show. The head-to-head show with, the reporter from Al Jazeera. And, Daniel has come out again to say, you know what, I'm going to release a press statement and let's talk about it. So he released a press statement on the 7th of March 2026, saying that in the last 24 hours, social media has exploded over his interview with Mehdi Hassan. Say, albeit with varied opinions, let me set the record straight. When I signed on to the privileged job granted to me by Mr. President, I was well aware of its implications. Selling ice cream, looking fine, and seeking the praises of men were never part of it. Some of the fiercest critics of my interview cannot even stand local TV anchors. But the task of promoting and defending the president and his administration is what I do with ease and joy. I'm prepared to appear before any interviewer anywhere in the world, any day and at any time to defend this government and its policies. I have never and will never subscribe to dodging interviews on matters that concern promoting and defending the administration I was appointed to serve. It is the least of what is required of me. Okay, this is like the first page of the statement he released. Of course, we are going to bring you other pages of the statements he released, but this is what we have for you to read. And when I saw this press statement, I tried to relate it with the video, and I wasn't seeing anything related to the video. But then let's take a look at this very short clip.
Tinubu never created a militia. Tinubu is one of the foremost politicians in Nigerian history.
Tinubu and his people created a militia. Who said those words, Daniel?
Tinubu has helped in strengthening democracy in Nigeria.
Tinubu and his people created a militia, Daniel. Who said those words?
Tinubu brought in leadership
skills
into governance.
Tinubu and his people created a militia. Who said those words?
Tinubu and his people never created the militias.
So why did you say they did on January 22nd, 2023?
I never said that.
The candidate of All Progressives Congress, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and his people created a militia. This is the first time in the history of Nigeria we're seeing a political party creating a militant arm leading to election.
Does he have a militia that tried to kill you?
He doesn't have. I never said he tried to kill me.
I myself have received threats from him and his camp. Your words.
I never said that.
There is also this threat to life, and I can tell you that because I myself have received threats from Asiwaju and his camp.
You said it was so corrupt, the 2023 election, Tinubu's win, you said that you couldn't eat food for 3 days.
I never said that. Where?
And legitimate complaints were raised all over Nigeria. That part is what threw me off balance. In fact, I became so sick. For the past 3 days, I found it very hard eating food.
Tinubu is not just super rich. It's what he does with his wealth. In 2019, 2 armored money trucks, bullion vans, were seen going into his house, coming out of his house. Where did that money go?
No. Point, did you see the money? Or those who reported, did they see money inside the bullion van?
Was there no money in the bullion vans?
How am I to know?
You said it was money in the vans at the time, 2023, February.
But there is only one person in Nigeria who is alleged to have moved money through bullion vans, and that person is on their ballot as the presidential candidate.
On the eve of the presidential elections, 2 cash-laden bullion vans, your words, were seen on the premises, which was ostensibly for vote buying. Your words, January 22nd, 2023. Have you just disowned everything you've said in order to work for this president?
I'm coming. What you just said now, I want to put it on record, on my own honor. That's not what I said.
All right, that's the video from Daniel Bwala and, of course, the Al Jazeera reporter, Mehdi Hassan, who, went head-to-head with Daniel. And, all I can say is wonders, they say, shall never end in our world because, the last statement he said, I'm going to put this to record, and for my own honor, I never said all of that, even with video evidences, with time, date, and all of that. Well, let's take some comments from social media as regards this topic. And the first comment is coming from Anil Beauty. And Anil says, it would have been more honorable to even say, I didn't know any better then. Now I do, than embarrassing himself like this. That's a good one. Thank you, Anil Beauty. And the next one is coming from Adachuku. And Adachuku says, excellent journalism at its best. Loved how he presented valid facts to back up his questions, and all in a professional manner. Thank you so much, Adachuko, for your comments. The last but not the least comment from today's topic is coming from the real Joe Joha. And Joe Joha says, if you think you have buried your past, beware of press with shovel. Thank you so much, everyone who dropped their comments on today's topic. And yes, I'm not alone in the studio as usual. I have with me Priscilla Obasi. Good morning, Priscilla.
Good morning, Obachiku. You look good.
It was such a good weekend. Of course, it was Women's Day, and of course, Women's Week this week. So happy Women's Day to you, Priscilla.
Thank you. Happy Women's Day.
And it looks like we're kind of twinning today. What's happening?
Maybe it's a subconscious uniform for the Women's
Day. All right. So, Priscilla, we're talking about Daniel Bwala going head-to-head with Mehdi Hassan, on the show head-to-head on Al Jazeera. And, it's something that I kept on playing all through the weekend. I saw this interview Saturday, I think in the morning hours of Saturday. And, I started asking myself questions. Why was someone denying something with so much evidence? I call it a rich evidence. This evidence is too rich to say I'm denying it. And I just like the first comments there and saying, why don't you just say, okay, I didn't know better, because of course it was an opposition, and you have to do anything to bring down your opposition then, because you were not in APC, but now you are in this party and you're supporting the president. You could have said, oh, I didn't know better, and besides, that was an opposition, and that's what politics is all about. Why come out to say, I never said all of that? I'm happy he didn't say that was AI. What do you think, Priscilla?
Well, I want to start by saying, honestly, I don't mean to say this, but it's at this point, it's really difficult to be a patriotic Nigerian because you see our people going out there to embarrass us, and I mean, you are in between trying to stand. Do I stand with my country or do I stand with a lie? Do you understand? So so as a matter of fact, you are tempted to just drop your principles at some point for patriotism, or throw away the principles or pick them up for the truth as against patriotism. So it's really difficult being a Nigerian.
And this is a special advisor.
Yeah. So
what exactly is this filling the president with?
I mean, this is no different from what we saw with Reno Omokri and decided with Sowore, right, in court, when Sowore came out to say, okay, the president had Reno Omokri say all manner of stuff against him, and at the end of the day he was given some award or whatever it is. It's called appointment. I'll call it an award. I mean, is it supposed to say well done for all you have said? Is that supposed to be a pat on the back for whatever it is? Because the opposition or opposition politics in Nigeria can be very crazy. You say anything to just bring somebody down. You speak without facts. You do every kind of thing you want to do, basically because you want to, prove to the world that this person is not a good leader. And I think it's crazy.
Politics is a bit tricky. So we don't even know much about it because we're seeing a different game right now. We're seeing people, shade presidents, and then we are seeing them being honored, like you said, honored or rewarded for, and you're asking yourself, we thought these people are supposed to be enemies. Why reward them? So I think there's something tricky happening right now. We are here to phantom it.
Exactly. There are lots of lessons to grab from this. First off is for social media users, when you see clips, always, verify, always for evidence. Nobody should just come out and say things to you because, they feel like saying it or because they are angry with an opposition. No, people should speak with facts. Right? And if they are speaking from a place of, speculations, you should also perceive it as a listener and not run with it. Because we have people going to fight each other because of politicians. Tomorrow, politicians become friends. Their children get married, they attend these ceremonies, they hug each other. And on social media or in the political space, they are seen as rivals. It is part of the game. It is part of the, everything that comes to politics. So you that is a citizen of the country, you don't throw yourself so into this whole thing, because at the end of the day you will be burnt. At the end of the day you will be the victim. So that is number one lesson I have to say to Nigerians out there. Be careful of what you receive and run with. And for the politicians, I mean, the world is becoming a global village. You cannot just say things anyhow because of your political stance. You must speak as an intellectual. You must speak with evidence. You must speak with facts. Because, I mean, as Nigerians, we can overlook this. Nobody, even if he goes to a local station now, he can find his way through this whole conversation. People will just see it and laugh and say it's cruise.
Sometimes they tell the uncle, you don't have respect.
Exactly.
Trying to intimidate uncles most times.
You just find a way, have a way to maneuver the whole situation and entice them. But, I mean, this is an international stage, and you can imagine what has happened. So, Nigerian politicians, well, you guys have to do better. I mean, you don't have a choice right now because indeed, the world is a global village.
All right, thank you so much. Adding to what you have said, Priscilla, I just want to also let people know that it is not just for politicians to know whatever it is you are saying or putting out there on social media. If you, even though you're not a politician, if whatever it is you want to say, just know that you're saying the right thing. Make sure that you have evidence of those things you are saying, and make sure you're accountable, because one day, it will come up and they will ask you. I've seen celebrities being dragged. I've seen even normal people being dragged and say, you know what, this is your word, and please, you must own up to it. Recently, we saw Simi's saga. People started digging out posts from 2014, 2016, against her, and she couldn't have come out to say, you know what, these are not my words. Those are her words, but of course, maybe she didn't know better as at that time. So make sure that you're accountable. Whatever it is you're saying, make sure you are saying the right thing.
It's not wrong to apologize.
Of course, it's not.
Humans, we make mistakes.
Definitely.
So it's part of being human. Apology. When you notice that it didn't go the way I wanted, or I didn't mean it this way, or it's not, just apologize. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I didn't think of this way. It's more honorable, than trying to prove a point that does not exist.
I hope this message reached the right audience. Thank you so much once again, Priscilla, for your contribution to today's topic. And yes, this is where we are ending it for Social Buzz here on Global Morning. And I'm going to be leaving you in the hands of Priscilla and Uyi as they take us into the discussion section of Global Morning. Once again, good morning, Nigeria, and good morning, the rest of the world. I am Ogochukwu Obno. Bye for now.
When social media speaks, we'll listen and we'll bring you the extra. It's your one-stop show for trends, and the tea everyone sips. Join the conversation, share your thoughts, and get the extra dose of what's shaking the internet.
And the issues making wave on social media to your doorstep.
Social Buzz Extra, where the trend meets the talk, only on Global Television.
Up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debates, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
In an age of breaking news, you need a trusted source that prioritizes accurate, factual, and unbiased reporting. This is AM News, and I am Ubong Usoro.
On Global Television, our news is rooted in verified and authoritative storytelling that keeps you educated, informed, and enlightened on all the issues that matter to you. I am Sadia Yakubu. This is Midday News.
You can trust our multi-platform news broadcast real-time and fast-check stories for all the big local and foreign headlines round the clock. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. This is News Express.
Our array of anchors delivers the news to our teeming viewers, breaking it down with context and perspective. This is News Cycle on Global Television. I am Anieti Patrick.
And the flagship news is your hub for the day's most engaging stories. This is News Prime, and I am Jumai Manson.
Did you miss any of our news rounds? No worries. Catch up at 10 p.m. and midnight, 7 days of the week. I am Mukhtar Kasim.
Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. We're active across all social media platforms at Global TV NG.
Global TV. All right, let's get our first conversation on the road for you real quick, everyone. We'll begin from Iran, where we understand the fighting has not relented, at least not so much, especially over this weekend. It has been a back and forth between, on the one hand, Israel and the US, then on the other, Iran. Iran is putting into the fight all its guts, is working on its leadership structure, is taking advantage of the economic edge that it has to not just only fight back, but to ensure that its leadership doesn't get decimated any further than this. And that raises the question of what exactly is the goal of this war ultimately, especially from the US side, because it will appear the reason the US has gone into this war or initiated that initial strike is not the same as the motivation that Israel says is, well, if you like, behind its own idea of initiating an attack against Iran. I've read all sort of commentaries, and there are people who believe strongly that Iran, on whatever level, did not pose any substantial threat to Israel, the US, or indeed the world. So the question is, why exactly are we fighting? We're joined this morning by a global affairs analyst, Idris Shoaibu, to help us understand what has happened exactly in the last few days and what the implications are, again, as it has to do with our country, Nigeria. I'd like to say a big thank you to you, Idris, for coming.
Thank you, sir, for coming.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Nice.
Good morning, Priscilla.
Morning.
Great. So let's begin from what has happened this last weekend. We understand, as it stands today, there is a leader who has now replaced the late Ayatollah. Yes, the later leader's, Ayatollah's son. There are people who believe that will also help boost leadership from Iran's end against whatever the US or Israel have planned in terms of strikes and what have you. Plus, the Strait of Hormuz, which is of economic importance to the whole world, especially as it has to do with crude and all of those vital resources, has now been blocked by Iran. Help us understand where we are today and what all of this means.
Thank you, Iran, Islamic Revolutionary Government of Iran, on the 28th February 2026, Iranians' strength has been tested like never before, where we saw the assassination of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the Iranian supreme leader, his chief of staff, Abdurrahim, his daughter, and several key figures in Iran through a coordinated attack from the United States of America and Israel. You know, they target as Operation Epic Fury, you know, and Iranian lost their leader. This is not the first time we are seeing this. This is not the first time we are seeing this. I think history will help us, you know, understand what is going on currently in the Gulf states, particularly in Iran. You know, I think during the Cold War, Iran, United States of America were friends. In 1953, I think there was this government, if you recall, Mohammed Mossadegh government. Along the line, they have some issues with the United States of America and United Kingdom in terms of oil issues, oil control with the market and all that. And they backed the Pahlavis, the Shah rulers, the monarch, through a coup. And Mohammed Mossadegh's government was ousted, and the Pahlavis that, you know, are doing the United States and the Western powers bidding. You know, it became a pro-West. And 1979, the Pahlavis were in the government, you know, dancing to the tune of the Western world. And in 1979, the Islamists came. They said, no, we cannot allow any external body to be controlling our social, political economy. And before you know it, a revolution came, and the Pahlavis lost their control in Iran. And since then, since 1979, United States of America and Iran became arch enemies. And they communicate through Pakistan. Anytime Iran want to communicate with United States of America, they use Pakistan as their communication channel. In the same vein, United States of America use Switzerland as their communications channel. Look at both countries are not on the same page on sensitive issue. And the same thing, in that same Middle East, we have Israel there. Israel sees Iran as an essential threat to his national interest. And one of the most important issues centered around the animosity between United States of America and Israel is the the nuclear weapon. The nuclear power became a very crucial issue. You know, don't forget that Israel is a nuclear arsenal.
Right.
So in 1945, the issue of nuclear became a global concern, and in 1968, we've had the non-proliferation of a nuclear treaty, and Iran is a signatory. You know, Israel, Pakistan, and India were not signatory. They didn't ratify the treaty. United States of America, United Kingdom, and 59 several countries, you know, are signatories to this treaty, to this nuclear pact. And since then, Iran has been noticed that Iran is developing nuclear power. You know, fast forward, during Barack Obama's time, in 2009 to 2007, he championed a diplomatic talks, nuclear-related talks, that Iran nuclear should be monitored by IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency. And, you know, with the P5+1, that is US, UK, France, China, Russia, plus Germany. Germany is not among the 5 permanent.
So that makes it P+1, yeah.
You know, supervised by the European Union, that Iran has been observed that is developing nuclear weapon, and this is a threat to global security. But politically, strategically, Benjamin Netanyahu, ever since he became Prime Minister of Israel, he has been lobbying through United States of America that Iran should be struck, that Iran is a threat to the Middle East, but some analysts see it as Israel is trying to, you know, contain Iran in the Middle East, to have influence in the Middle East.
Regional power.
That is regional power.
Right.
Regional, you know, influence. But Iran too is pushing back that, no, my nuclear program is for civilian purpose. And that nuclear deal was, some component of it has been implemented, in which some sanctions imposed on Iran has been lifted, even though there is some component part of it that remain. And Donald Trump came, you know, he scrapped the deal, imposed more sanction on Iran. This drew Iran back. Observers believe that Iran went back and you know, increase more on this on his nuclear capability. Even the IAEA testified that, but Iran still denied that, no. But I think from the realistic point of view, Iran did well, because if you are not powerful, you are vulnerable on the world stage, and you can
be eating for lunch.
Eating for lunch, and just like what we are saying before, right now. And of recent, Donald Trump, former President Biden, when he came, you know, Donald Trump, after his first tenure, he recontested for a second term, and he lost to Biden. And when Biden came, people expect Biden. People expect Biden, being the former vice president to Barack Obama, to continue with Barack Obama's legacy. But to our surprise, we saw some lackadaisical attitude from the part of former President Biden. Rather, he focused on the Ukraine-Russia crisis. You know, that that he is also accusing Iran of developing nuclear capability, and many advise Biden to have a diplomatic talks with them. And during Barack Obama, it was Hassan Rouhani, who he sees as a reformist in Iran. You know, he was able to, you know, have a diplomatic sit down on these nuclear-related issues. But during Biden, we have a hardline, Ibrahim Raisi, who he sees, he also have some, you know, elements of mentality with the supreme leader, hardline approach. So because of that, Biden didn't even have time for Iran to talk about nuclear issues.
Right.
And he lost. I mean, the Democrat lost to President Trump again. And when President Trump came, we saw a different approach. He called on Iran several times that, okay, let's have a nuclear deal. The other one was a shamble.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Even Benjamin Netanyahu called it a bad deal, even though he didn't like it. And when President Trump came, he called on Iranians officials that let's talk about, you have been developing nuclear weapon. Let's talk about it. And the Iranians said, no, we have you have disappointed us before. We cannot come and have any talk with you. So both sides have been applying some, strategic moves and all that, being too careful. And President Trump threatened them several times that I'm going to bomb you, I'm going to do this and that. And until on 26th February, Iranian delegation through Oman mediation at the Vienna, they call him the Foreign Affairs Minister Bashar Araghchi called the Supreme Leader that we are about to have a breakthrough. The Supreme Leader said, okay, there's no problem. He called his inner circles in his office, and voila, the strike came. So anytime the United States of America and Iran are very close to the deal, Benjamin Netanyahu's lobby always works.
So he pressures or he persuades the U.S.
Yes. We saw that, if you recall Priscilla, the 12-day war, June last year.
June last year, right.
Between Israel and Iran.
Targeting those nuclear sites.
The United States of America came and targeted Fordo, Natanz, Isfahan nuclear facilities in Iran.
Right.
And Donald Trump even told the whole world that Iran nuclear facility has been obliterated. And why now? Why now? You said you have dismantled everything. And now Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald Trump are still accusing Iran of developing nuclear weapon. And Iran denied it, that no, my nuclear capability is for economic purpose, not a threat
for energy,
global security.
Right.
I think we are in a very complex situation.
That's right now. I think Priscilla has a question she wants to ask.
Basically, I like the fact that you have, established whatever it is that has happened in time past. But at this point, this is already escalating. As you said, it is escalating. We have seen prices of oil, skyrocket, even in Nigeria and other neighboring countries. So, I want to ask, what is the way forward? What is the way forward? Is there a possibility at the end of this? What diplomacies are put into place? Is there some kind of talks, diplomatic talks to bring an end to this? What is the way forward?
I'm a subscriber of diplomacy. I believe in diplomacy. But sometimes diplomacy is a continuous process. President Trump, to me, what he did, I see it as a betrayal of diplomacy. So if you are calling on Iran to come and have a diplomatic talks on this issue, is going to be very difficult, and it is even part of the implication of United States and Israel's strikes that is going on in the Middle East now. Diplomacy, President Trump believed on unilateral approach. Right now, we saw several times on the social media, on the news, President Trump told the world that there is not going to be any negotiation with Iran unless Iran surrenders unconditionally. Iran, even before now, told the whole world that they are not going to bow down to any external power, especially United States of America. So you can see the dilemma here. Many are, there is this anxiety you know, from the rest of the world that if this continue, we may likely, maybe we are getting closer to third world war. If maybe Iran's supporters, allies like Russia and China. But from my own point of view, I'm not seeing China and Russia supporting Iran directly, especially military support. But China and Russia will assist Iran through other means like reconstruction. That is if the Iranian revolutionary government is still in power, you know, still in control of Iran. So in the area of reconstruction and diplomatic support, particularly at the United Nations Security Council, you know, these allies, China and Russia, they do that, including Turkey. Iran, the implication of this conflict we are seeing vast, enormous, particularly the strategic location of Iran on the world map. You know, in the Middle East, rather, the control of the Strait of Hormuz. You know, Iran has blocked that now, and we have seen the implication of that across the world. You know, Asian states, I think they rely virtually 25 to 30% of oil from the Middle East. And this, in a way, from my own point of view, may push these countries to rely on Russia oil. Even the Europeans, the Western Europe, that are not always on the same page with Russia, may likely got attracted to Russia's gas and oil because of this crisis preceding.
And in all of this, where do we stand? Nigeria. Because whether we like it or not, we are still affected.
Yes, we are still affected. We are affected. You know, from the security point of insecurity, terrorism, because Iran has been alleged to be sponsoring non-state actors, and the Al-Shabaab has a link with the Hezbollah in Lebanon, and we know Lebanon's close ties with Iran. Even right now, Israel is bombing Lebanon, the southern Lebanon, and Lebanon too have sent some missile to, even though Israel have intercepted even that of Iran, the Gulf states that were affected, Iranian retaliation have been intercepted, but Iran is showing its anger, you know. You know, so the current war has affected Nigeria, because Nigeria is also part of the international community. Nigeria is an oil-producing state, an OPEC member. You know, our 2026 budget, even budget before now, is pegged on the global oil price. I think about $65. You know, so it's going to increase our revenue. But how this translates to common Nigerians remain the dilemma. And from the security point of view, Northern Africa are very close to the Middle East. You know, from maybe Libya, Algeria, down to Chad. You know, in a way, this provision of arms that we are experiencing, you know, it will still, you know, it will increase more, it will pose a threat to our security. I think that is one of the negative, you know, implication of the current crisis we are seeing in the Middle East.
There was a clause you used a while ago, if the regime is still there. I mean, you were referring to the regime in Iran, right? Because that, again, is another strand in this conversation as the war unfolds, so to say. When you look at these last few days, do you see the possibility that ultimately what the U.S. is, if you like, heading towards is a regime change in Iran?
Yes, one of their main goal, aside from dismantling Iranian nuclear facilities or capability, is the regime change. And the United States of America and Israel want a government that will protect their interests. Because Benjamin Netanyahu sees Iran in the Middle East as an essential threat. So they want a figure that will protect their interests, that will always listen to the Western world, that will always listen to the United States. Let me just say United States of America, because right now we have seen Donald Trump shifting away from the United States of American allies. Keir Starmer involvement on this. Unlike before, anytime United States of America...
The UK jumps in.
Yes.
But that's not the case now.
That's not the case now. Even France, that's not the case now. They were in, but in and out.
Right.
Yesterday, Donald Trump even told Keir Starmer that...
we don't need your base or your aircraft or something.
This is because Donald Trump has abandoned the United States of America traditional allies, the Western world. They prefer this unipolar approach, and every great power, Priscilla, needs ally. And for now, what we are seeing, they want a regime change. This is not new to us. But the approach Donald Trump is using, from my observation, it won't work, because for it to work perfectly, you need ground troop. You need to put your boots on the ground. And for me, it's not going to be possible, because the Iranian Revolutionary Guards are so powerful, especially when it comes to ground fighting. They are very powerful.
The mobile infantry.
Yes. Iran has, their military is divided into two. They have the normal military, as in their own, they call them ATES, and the Iranian Revolutionary Guards. The normal military, they are in charge of the controlling of the border, the airspace, conventional war. The Iranian Revolutionary Guards, their own goes beyond defense. They are, ideological. They control the banks, they control the political, the economy, the culture, the religion, and everything. So the Iranian Revolutionary Guards is a process. It's beyond military. Military capability. So that is why it's very difficult, from my own point of view, for Israel and United States of America to achieve
it appears this is going to be a long night, as they say. But I have a follow-up question to that, right? Donald Trump stated very categorically as of Friday last week that, look, the U.S. has got to be involved in the emergence of the next leader for Iran. And we understand the son of the late Ayatollah has not succeeded him. First of all, we're not sure that the U.S. had a hand in all this, obviously. But when the U.S. says we're going to have a hand in this, we're going to have a voice in determining who becomes the next leader of Iran. And now you have this gentleman taking up leadership in his late father's stead. Do you think that could trigger the U.S. to say, look, this is not the kind of system we want in Iran that we have one? Because we're hearing that the son of the late, the former Shah, who is somewhere in France, is the one the U.S. is tapping to come take over leadership. And the man has been talking plenty across the internet and everywhere else in the media, saying that, look, I already have a plan in place in terms of how we are going to do a transition and how we're going to roll out our own policies, our own kind of government and things like that. How do you see this playing out ultimately?
Yes, thank you. Psychologically, the United States of America and Israel, they are not happy with the current leadership in Iran. To them, they prefer pro-US and pro-Israel to be controlling Iran. So it's a psychological war. For Donald Trump to say they want he said a normal, I forgot the statement he used the other time. So what they need is somebody that will listen to them, especially from the history, the Shah, the Pahlavis, to come. But it's beyond that way. Iran internal issues also internal politics also contributed to this. We have the Kurds and the northern Iraq rather. From Iraq, we have the Kurds who are the opposition in Iran.
Fighting steadily.
The current Islamic government in Iran. So, former President Hassan Rouhani's Foreign Affairs Minister, Mohammed Javid, is also being, penciled by the United States of America to
take over leadership.
Internally, they don't even want the Pahlavis for say. They want somebody that will also have the support
of the people back at home.
Of the people.
Just like they had in Venezuela too.
Yes. They also want somebody, but side by side. That is why the United States of America, especially, and this advice is coming from the Mossad. Israel Mossad, because of their intelligence.
The CIA
network.
equivalent of Israel.
They know in and out of Iran. Very powerful intelligence guard from the Mossad. So they prefer a reformist. And like I said before, the Hassan Rouhani's government is the former president is defined as a reformist. So they would prefer someone like the former foreign affairs minister. He was also a one-time vice president during Ibrahim Rais.
So he has the credentials.
Yes.
I think Priscilla will just push the last question to you as well.
So basically, it's clear to say that Iran operates a hybrid system of government. It has the democratic, even if it's not. And then there's I don't want to call it dictatorship though, but it's seeming like it, right, at this moment. And I really want to feel that is part of the reasons why the US were able to intercept the way they did, basically because of the division, the internal division happening in the country, right? So there's a new leader at this point, and my colleague has said, he has asked, what do you see playing out with this? When this whole thing happened, we had people in the country come out to, pledge their support to the US for whatever it is that happened.
Yes, in Iran, right?
In Iran,
yes.
In Iran. And I want to say that this set of people in Iran too are also, looking forward to an end to whatever it is that is happening wrongly that they perceive in the country. Something that whatever it is that has made them their rights to be trampled on, their voices to not be heard over the years, right? So, in all of this, can we say, even if US is playing its, politics of having the supreme power at the end of the day, would we say that somehow they are also fighting for the people of Iran, if we want to be fair?
In this discourse, there is no issue of being fearless. You have to look at issue from realistic point of view and diplomatic point of view. From the realistic point of view, the United States of America still, anytime they want to intervene for their interest in any part of the world, there are many strategies they use. Before now, Priscilla, before the attack, we saw protests through the currency manipulation. That have affected the economy of Iran.
That's from Iran.
And the masses are bearing the brunt. They have to come out on the streets because that's affected their daily life, and they came out on the streets, protest, and many lost their life from the government official, security, and also the people in which the government, accused the protesters of attacking the police and the military, and also the opposition. And United States of America and Israel also accused Iranian government of killing innocent citizens in Iran. So this is a power play, interest. But I condemn the killing of the innocent people. But it's beyond that. It's politics.
Yeah.
What we are seeing, Priscilla, is a battle for regional supremacy from Benjamin Netanyahu.
So Benjamin Netanyahu is the...
So right now, it's very obvious that Iran is divided into two.
Obviously.
Iran is divided into two, but the current government of Iran still have meaningful control in Iran.
This is, are we talking about the newly elected?
The newly elected, we, stick to the ideology of the Iranian revolutionary government.
And we don't see a reaction from the people, the citizens.
Yes, of course. From the citizens are also divided. Some are with the current government, the Islamic government, and some are pro-US and Israel.
And Israel, right.
Priscilla, you've listened to President Moshur of Iran. That is when he was apologizing to the Gulf states for attacking them. On the other hand, many question what is going on here. He is the president, and even before the strike from the United States of America, many have already foreseen or even analyzed, the implication if Iran is targeted or attacked, that Iran will surely retaliate and attack U.S. base in this Gulf state. And it has happened. And it's happening. As I'm talking to you now, Iran is still attacking U.S. bases or U.S. facilities in the Gulf state. But what the Iran Foreign Affairs Minister have explained deep, about the president's statement that no, it's because, is it not in UAE or Qatar that an hotel, some civilian facilities
was targeted.
Yes. So, for me, the Iranians are not ready to surrender. I think the best way is to go back to that diplomatic table.
Right. We hope they go back there, and that's the more reason we will also bring you back here as these all events unfold, because there appears to be several events practically every day regarding this war. I want to appreciate you so very much, Idris Shaibu, for coming to help our viewers understand exactly what it is we're dealing with at this point in time, because on many levels we are in this together, whether you like it or not. We appreciate you so much. Thank you. All right. We're taking a quick break now. When we return, we'll turn our attention to women and the role they play in society, especially now that we are still, as it were, commemorating the International Women's Week. Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
for the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
On the 8th of every other year, the world marks what we now know as the International Women's Day. And one of the things that happens is that women are recognized for the difference that they make in society. And for this year, Give to Gain has been the theme, even though there's a sub-theme across the world. For that, the emphasis is on mentoring for women, especially young girls who are coming from behind, as it were, so they begin to understand where the world is today, the work cut out for them, and the amount of competence, capacity, and skill set they require to get that job done. Today we can see across all critical sectors, not just in Nigeria, but all over the world, how women are putting their best foot forward and ensuring that their voices are not only heard, that they leave a mark for the next generation to continue to sharpen. This morning we're joined by someone who has been there, done that, as they say, to help us find out exactly where we are in terms of the difference that women are making in their respective fields of endeavor. Zainab Buba Galadima, she's a social impact advocate as well as an entrepreneur and a politician. I think it would be unfair to not add that she's also into poems. You still write poems?
Yes, I do.
Oh, great. You know, I've seen people who write poems about Nigeria, about leadership, about national development. They highlight the challenges. They also give hope at the end to say, look, we may be caught in the web in the manner of speaking, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. When you look at Nigeria from that standpoint today, as someone who has been in leadership, whether it's private or public space, for example, do you think women should be complaining or they should be grateful for how far they've come right now?
Well, I'm going to stand in the middle.
Okay.
We're not where we're supposed to be.
Right.
I believe that we could do better. And when they say we should be grateful, it's like they're like we're being looked at as people that are inferior in you know, to say the least. But we believe that we should complement each other. I know that equality is something very dicey when you look at religious, cultural, and other aspects.
Right.
But I should stand in the middle. We shouldn't be expected to be grateful because we have equal stake, you know, in the society and you know, in the system per se. So we're not where we should be.
Right, I can imagine.
Yes.
But I want us to also now talk about the theme for this year, right? Give to Gain. That makes a lot of sense because it talks about investing in others, in other women, younger girls, for example, in such a way that they can pick up that torch wherever the generation in front of them would leave off and things like that. How much of concern do you have when it comes to mentoring for young girls? Because it will appear many young girls are derailing. I don't want to say they're going astray, they're derailing. You see what their priorities are when you look at what they put out on the internet, for example, the kind of conversations they initiate, how they comment on that posts, and things like that. Does that bother you? And are we heading in the right direction in terms of mentoring for them?
Absolutely, it bothers me because not just for women or young girls, but an entire generation. When you look at a post on social media or you know other places, and you see the kind of the way they do, they put down their thoughts. It's really a thing of concern. It shows that we've lost our moral decadence. The moral values has eroded, and I think it comes from the family. There's a disconnect. You know, people are trying to survive, not looking at the discipline they have to provide for, you know, their children or people that are under their, you know, guardianship. So a lot of people, a lot of young minds are taking another direction, which isn't beneficial per se. For example, when you look at TikTok, there's so much immorality and decency. There are people doing great things, good things, but when you look at the way the things they post, the discussions they have, you wonder like what kind of generation lies ahead. So there's lack of good role models. A lot of people have abandoned their moral upbringing, if I might say. Parents nowadays, so much family, breakups. So the influence of maybe father figures or mother figures in people's lives are not there. When you look at a child that has lost their mother, for example, or they don't have a mother figure in their life, sometimes they make decisions that are not good. I'm coming from the cultural,
right?
And when you look at young men that do not have the influence of a good father figure, you could see it. Or when they do, but the father figure does not impact. There's no positive impact. For example, if there's domestic abuse, that person grows up to be that way. So there's really lack of mentorship. Also, the family values has eroded. So we need to, as mothers and as parents, we need to invest more in that, so that we can bring out the best in our children.
Right. Okay, so talking about family values, I want to feel that one of the things that have, somehow limited mentorship in our environment is the Western culture. I don't want to say that, but to an extent, yeah. Before now, you hear things like, in an environment, one person's child is everybody's child.
Yes.
But right now, we don't have such a culture in Nigeria. A parent is bringing up a child, you're not allowed to go to a neighbor's house, unlike what we used to have then. So somehow, you're not allowed to talk to another person's child, you're not allowed to discipline another person's child. Yes. That's against what we used to have as a culture then. So I really feel like it has affected, people taking on mentorship roles in other people's life. You don't want to offend a parent, you don't want to offend anyone. Right now that there's, social media, you do a thing, it's misinterpreted, you're trying to care, someone is, reading wrong meanings to it and all of that. The Western culture, the technology, everything has affected mentorship. Yes. It should actually boost it. We should see more awareness created with these tools, with all the knowledge we have. But instead, we're seeing people say, "Okay, I am wiser, and this is the wisest way to go." But how do we go from there?
Well, it's a very this technology or globalization, as you might say, has really there's some good, like I said, and there's some bad, and sometimes the foundation from home, should help guide whoever goes out there. Because when somebody's on the internet, there's no limit to what information or what influence they could have in their life. There's no limit. It takes control and discipline. So I think that starts from the foundation, the parental foundation, religious as well. So it's really, really, really sad that there are no restrictions. We've allowed it, not just us, but globally, it has been allowed to evade our thinking, we feel like, oh, okay, I can do whatever I want since nobody is watching, and and
Child Rights Act.
Yes.
Every child has a right now.
Exactly.
It's against our culture.
Before a boy is dressing like a girl, and all those things. So the family values really matters a lot. There's so many things that could stop, when you have really invested. So I think parents need to do more, and schools also within us. Like, for example, the African setting. We used to have this African, when an African mother. And it's true that, because now, like I said, so many people don't have even the moral conscience. So you're scared of your child going to, the other people's house, being maybe sleeping over and all those things, because they might get abused, they might be exposed to so much information that ordinarily you would not, and they might think it's okay. So you have to keep reminding them. You have to, you have to limit that. Even within your household, there are some people that you shouldn't expose your children to, because you don't know who is sick out there.
So mentorship should be guided, overseen by parents.
Yes, very much so. Very much so.
Okay, talking about women and celebration, I was particularly excited about this year's International Women's Day, basically because I saw women come out. I could see growth, right? I know, like you said, we're not where we used to be, but we're not where we want to be. But in the midst of women trying to challenge status quo, trying to dream big and all of that, you still find people in society say, if you allow women to do this, they become threats, threats to their household. You still find husbands that intentionally limit women. You still find cultures that say, as a woman, you cannot inherit a land. The land is shared to them. It still exists till date. You know, we still find all of these cultural biases and somehow name or blaming, or somehow all of it is it looks like there's an agenda somewhere that says, no, we have to fight it. You know, it's getting out of hand. We cannot allow these women, you know. I understand why people think like this. Maybe we have few bad examples, you know, in the society. I'm talking about women, you know, when they attain positions, they become, you know, almighty, all-knowing, maybe rude in some sort, but they now use these examples to want to classify every other woman, and somehow it brings about the gender war, an unending cycle of gender war. The man is angry that, you know, a woman did this in the past, or a woman did this in the society. The woman is angry that the man hates, you know, a man broke my heart. You just see people speaking from their pain, from their experience, and somehow it's trying to limit this fight, you know, for gender equality at the end of the day. So I'm really concerned. Are we going to go past this? Because it looks like we're making progress until you see gender war come into the statement, you know, and all of that. So I would really like you to talk about that.
Progress takes time. So like I said, we're not where we used to be. Obviously, there's a lot of change, and because of access to education, to economic power, and leadership roles. Even though they're not, exactly but now women are becoming more exposed. They're becoming more aware of their environment, of their rights, of their capacity and capabilities, and what they can do. So it's baby steps, and yes, there are some bad examples. But before you find one woman, you can find 1,000 men that have done, otherwise. Okay. Do you understand? But they don't see themselves, because yes, we do understand that we're different people, and every person has a role in the society, but we also have a stake, and they should understand that. Just like how I said, it's the parental guide. Now, as mothers, or mothers that are going to be, we need to make our children understand how important a woman is, how important the mind of a woman is, and she can also be what you can be. Once we have that orientation, is the mindset, that makes men think or make them insecure about, okay, I can't let a woman, she's going to be better than me. Or, for example, when I ran for office, I ran against 5 men. And for one particular person, it was really, really, he took it very, personal. He didn't speak to me for years, and then we became good friends later. So these are things. It's okay for a woman to be better than you. We're all built different, but it's the mindset.
When we say better now, do we use the word better?
Well,
because
for example, when you think about the IQ or capacity, everybody is different.
Right.
There's some people that are slow. There's some people that are fast. There are some people that are
slow with some things.
Yeah.
Fast, I think it's now relative, because those people that are slow can be faster
in other things. Yes,
yeah.
I'm just trying to make you understand. People are different. Yeah. There are ways that a woman can be better than you, can do a lot better than you.
Exactly.
So you have to accept it that this is a human thing. She was also built. You can't just imagine a woman not having everything. You as a man think that I am way above her, I'm superior in every capacity. It's not possible. So it's the mindset. So I think reorientation, creating awareness, and also for parents to be able to guide their children, because it's not about bringing up the girl child and making her think that she's there, marriage is an achievement, or you're built to serve a man, or you should be yourself. I wasn't brought up that way. In my household, I have more brothers than I have sisters until I grew up. After I was 19, that was when I had the next sister. But every other person was a boy. Wow. My mom had like 5 boys, and I was never treated any less or inferior to them. I was given the same kind of opportunity, if not more. So when you empower a woman, when you educate a woman, when you mentor a woman, great things can happen. And we bring so many things to the table. We bring empathy, resilience, we bring collaborative leadership. There are a lot of things that we do bring. So I think we should be
I also think we should emphasize more on collaboration, because everybody that gets this thing wrong always sees it as, a competition.
Yes.
It's not a competition. But then I want to ask, we still have elders of the land.
Yes.
As much as we have, a tradition, a court marriage, we have a traditional marriage, and sometimes these principles, or they have different principles that work across, different spaces like that. So you want to say, oh, I am a Western woman, I have equal rights, until you meet an elder from the land, and then he reminds you of where you're coming from. So how do we really go past all this, cultural beliefs? Because whether we like it or not, we are Nigerians, we are Africans.
Yes.
And those things stand.
Yes.
It stands. How can we go past it? Is there any diplomacy we can use with, when speaking to elders? Do you even think that they understand these things? Because in the royal kingdom, they have a way of, also treating women's rights, right? Yes, but maybe some of the Nigerian movies we have seen too, across the media and the entertainment space have also contributed in painting women in a way, right? So how do we correct these narratives? How can we work together with these traditional, societies and leaders to ensure that indeed women are given the rights they deserve in the society?
Like I said earlier, it's the mindset and how we, by doing different things, by adding value, we can change the minds of so many people. And now you could see a community and they advocate for women because a woman has stood up and has shown that this is what I can do. For example, Senator Natasha, if you follow her, what she's doing, you'll be asking, what are the other senators doing? Are they not going to the same Senate? Or, the empowerment, the development that she's brought, the value that she has added. So women like that, can be identified.
Yeah, people that you see as bad example.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Everybody is, like we say, is a 9, not a 10. So, but we always look at the good side
of people,
of people, and the impact that they've made positively to the society. And I believe that with time, obviously I'm a Muslim, there are limits to what I can do and how I can present myself, and also culturally as well. I do understand that I'm an African woman. I do understand that I am a Muslim woman, and in Nigeria's context, I'm from the north. So there are things that I wouldn't do. I wouldn't wear a half top and just walk on the street. You should have some dignity in things that you do, but as well, even as much as you want to communicate your rights or your ideas to other people, do it in a way that is respectful, do it in a way that does not really them. Yes, that does not really, you have to be diplomatic about it. So I believe that there are many ways that we can approach things, and when they see it, they could come, to the other side.
So you think women can do better in trying to advocate?
Yes, we can do better. It's not about fighting. It's about, diplomacy. It's about networking. It's about so many things. Do you understand? So it's not about fighting. I don't need to fight you to be able to make you feel like, oh, okay, I should be here. No, I will add my value. I will do what I'm supposed to do. And in return, they'll be like, oh, okay, maybe we should consider so person. And naturally, women are more reliable. Do you understand? For example, when it comes to voting, when it comes to so many things, when it comes to keeping our words, when a woman is reliable and has integrity, she's a lot different from other people. She could go places. Look at Okonjo Iweala. Look at Amina J. Mohammed. Do you understand? So I know we're not, but women are breaking, barriers that I believe that it should count for something.
Speaking of breaking barriers, I know many women were not very happy with the outcome of the 2023 election for apparent reasons, especially for women who had thought that someone like Binani, as we popularly call her, by now would have been doing her third year into her governorship of Adamawa State. I mean, if all else had been equal, as they say. But that's all behind us. There's nothing we can do about it. Let's project into 2027. There's a new electoral act now in force. Where do you see women going in 2027 regarding beyond just winning elections, but framing the narrative for Nigeria?
Wow, this electoral act, from the little that I've extracted from it, I believe that there's so many things that needs to be changed. For example, I think it's going to cost more.
Right, with the direct primaries?
Oh yeah, and it's going to be more probably violent.
Why?
Because it's not easy to control people. It's not easy to control people. And when you look at it, I believe that they said even with the direct primaries, it has to go from the ward level.
Right, all the way up.
All the way up. So it's going to be very tasking. It's going to. I do not like the idea of delegates. Because they've extorted people for a very long time. But I think we should devise another means of managing, even if it's the direct primaries. I don't believe it was done on a selfless. I believe there are so many things wrong with the
political interests.
Yes, with the way.
So you say it wouldn't favor women?
Oh, of course, maybe, but it might. You know, when a community believes in you, it's different.
Right.
You don't have to spend as much. So it's not always the case of money, but you also need money for logistics. You also need, but there's some people. So the voters or the citizens now they think different. There are a lot of people when they'll come out for the election. They'll bring their voters card, but they'll stand in line and say, "Okay, you must pay me."
True.
Do you understand?
Right.
So, no matter what you try to tell them, some of them, no matter what you try to tell them, they will not believe you because politicians have deceived them for a very long time. So they believe, let me just get what I can get for the next 4 years, and then just, let you deal with the rest, because that is how our society or our system has deteriorated. So there's a lot of work to be done, and I think it gives other parties or smaller parties, it will make it a bit more difficult for them to produce. Because let me just give you a scenario of direct primaries. For example, I'm A, and then there's another person that is B. So let's say they count 120 people for me. And this one, I see the line, it might be maybe 200.
All right.
So once they get to 50, I can decide to scatter the line.
Okay.
Since you can already understand that you're not likely going to win.
So it will just count from where it stopped.
Right.
Do you understand? So this one might be the likely winner, but then I decide to disrupt the
process. Yes.
Do you understand? Yeah. So I'm afraid of what might become.
And just to add to that, some parties are now seriously considering consensus because, of course, it's quite capital intensive to pull off the direct primaries. Do you share that sentiment that parties can decide to go
consensus? Is good, but then you might have a lot of litigations after that, because a lot of people might feel, okay, maybe they would favor her because maybe she has more connection or network within the party, and and that person doesn't have any. And democracy is all about allowing people to choose for themselves and to by the people for the people.
Right.
So I believe there's going to be a lot of. In any way you find yourself in, there's no perfect
system.
So consensus might be good, Maybe they might strike a deal, or trying to see, or they can weigh options, and but the timing also is very limited as well. So consensus sometimes take longer. Because there's some people that will prove to be maybe strong-headed and be like, no, I will not agree, back and forth and stuff like that. So, and then there's a time difference. So, we're waiting to see how it's going to unfold.
Okay, talking about women in politics now. I believe in voting for a person because of their capability. But then there is a place of experience, right? You might have all the capabilities, all the abilities, but if your abilities is not, or you're not given the chance, to go through some sort of experience, somehow you will not do as much as someone that is more experienced. And I know that experience starts in a day, right? But we are in a space, or Nigeria right now is in that place where we don't want plenty experiments. We want, solution. Do you think we have women with what it takes, with all the abilities and even experience, to really take Nigeria from where it is to where it should be politically?
Yes, we do. But like you said, there's some barriers, there's some challenges. There are gatekeepers in every, politically, there are gatekeepers. There's also, as I mentioned earlier, there's this financial, barrier as well. So, and also, now we've reduced politics to who you know, how influential they are, how they can place you in places. It's not about what you have to offer. There's so many, I don't want to, there's so many people that, or idiots, do you understand? Do you understand? There's so many idiots in positions that they're not supposed to be there, but they're there, because of who they know, because they have to hold that space for somebody. For example, now when you look at the congresses or conventions, some parties will decide, okay, there will only be one form for each position, and that form will probably be given to the governor of the state. So they choose who they want. So there's no party superiority anymore. So these are their boys within the party structure, and they tell them what to do. So what do you expect? There's no progress. So people that have something to offer, they don't like them. They don't. People don't like me. Do you understand? I'll start with myself, because they feel like they can't turn you the way they want. So they feel like, okay, and they like the idea of separating, between the haves and the have-nots, or the, there's the leadership for them is about slavery, or it's about, I'm superior and stuff like that. So they wouldn't want anybody that would give other people opportunities to thrive. Do you understand? They still want to be in control till they can't breathe anymore. So these are the challenges that we have, and I believe that a lot of us, if we stand together, I think unity matters. Where people can stand up and say, okay, look, we're not going to have this. But when you have people that are just, okay, they're just going to do this anyway. This is where we found ourselves as Nigerians. A lot of people feel disenfranchised, or they feel like, okay, you know what, I'm not going to do this because anyway they will do what they want. We never stand up for things that are right, and that is where we found ourselves in this country today. So I believe that there's so much that we could do if people of like minds come together.
And then it's difficult for a woman to, defy all odds. It takes a lot of courage, extra courage for a woman to say, I want to do this, I can do it. Because you're considering the people that have not done it. You're considering male counterparts. You're considering every other thing, right? You have been, I would call you a brave person. And then I want you to be able to encourage women out there, right? People that are struggling to, have a voice. They are struggling, basically because of the environment they are coming from, environments that have not been lived in them as a person, not talk of a woman. Do you understand? There are still these people in the society, people that don't even believe that when you see a woman on the ballot, you're just laughing. You just know that she's going to make a caricature of herself. She's wasting her time. There are people that still have such mentalities. I just want you to put a word out to them.
First of all, there is no failure. It's not when you lose, or it's not a failure. It's an experience. One, and there's always that inner voice that women have, or people. As a person, you have that inner voice that will always tell you, don't try it, you can't do it. There's always that. But the courage and the determination to be is very important, your conviction. Nobody will believe in you if you do not believe in yourself. So you have to start with yourself. So like you said, some people feel like, oh, okay, they're too scared to have a voice. No matter how low your voice is, it's still a voice. And with time, you're going to amplify it. So I think a lot of people need to understand that they can do what they can be and do whatever they want to do or be. And they have to take out that fear. There's always that fear. No matter how confident you are, at some point in your life, there are things that you fear. So you have to put it down, because it is better to try and fail and gain the experience than not to try at all. You might try and see that, oh, okay, it's not so bad after all, and you make it. It's about luck, but you have to have that zeal or determination to be able to do that. So I don't believe that people should limit themselves. I believe that you should be out there and be able to make that difference and add that value. And when you're coming out, you shouldn't just be coming out to do anything, be it politics, be it business, be it anything. You shouldn't just come out just for coming out's sake. Come out to do something.
Come out to do something.
Add value, do something, make a difference, than to come out and not have something to offer and then
you now make them look down on women. Anyone that wants to come out in future, it's
you understand?
Yeah, so it's
and we live in a society where people are just shameless. They're shameless. They do whatever they want, and then at the end of the day, they own it with their full chest. In Nigeria, you can only when you see a confident person that does anything they want, they lack integrity. They lack everything wrong there is, and it's the confidence. So you have to have that confidence.
That's interesting. But just before we let you off, do you see? This is quite an interesting question, by the way. An emergence of female governors in 2027, given where we are today.
Like you said, I think Binani is going to run, and
are you hopeful for her?
Yes, I am. I would love to see her in that space. I would love to see, because she's done a lot of things for her people, and I would like to see it, expand.
Right.
And if women like that have that opportunity, other women like them will be inspired, and many more will come. It's like I said, it starts gradually, and it starts with one person, and then you see the next, and we're looking forward. So far, she's the only one that I've seen,
out there,
maybe with the intention of doing that. We're hoping to see women vie for positions and make that difference. Women of value, women of competence and capacity.
Some people argue that it's not nobody's limiting women; they are the ones limiting themselves.
Yes, sometimes.
Because why are we not expecting to see women? Why are we picking counting a few women? We should be saying, we're going to have 10 candidates.
We're going to have Priscilla, for example.
Exactly. So why are we handpicking them? So I think women need to also understand that nobody's limiting them. They are, the fact that we're not seeing them is because they are deciding not to come out.
That inner voice of fear.
I was going to ask you just a bonus question, 1 minute. Do you think women should pursue some sort of special political parties, maybe by way of a special purpose vehicle for election purposes? For example, I've listened to women, I've spoken to some on air who say that the established parties are already male-dominated.
Yes.
So what alternative do women have?
True. First of all, women need to come together. There's that thing. Women need to come together, first of all, to find a way out. And even if the established parties are not favorable to their ambition, but first of all, they need to come together and understand that this is a fight for women. It is not a competition. We have a lot of competition going on, with us, and that pulls us down. So when you're not united, it's very difficult for you to achieve so many things. And a lot of women are scared of being out there because of like we said, cultural and religious and also financial. Running a political party is not an easy task.
Doesn't come cheap, right?
It's not easy, and men have the money, we do not.
So we're trying to get the money.
So if you're going to come together, even if it's to dominate, go into hijack a party and take it over, you can do it, but you have to do it together. There is no two ways about it.
So you have to come together.
Yes, come together. together.
Well, incidentally, that's the most we can have on this conversation this morning. We've been talking with Zainab Buba Galadima. She's a social impact advocate, politician, entrepreneur, as well as a poet. I think that's the last part I really like. We appreciate you for your insights, quite valuable. Just to remind all our viewers that the views of our guests on all of our programs, including here on Global Morning, are their opinions. I would like to say a big thank you to you for investing a chunk of your morning with us here on the program. I am Uyi Agmofwewe.
And I am Priscilla Obasi, wishing you a beautiful day ahead. Bye.